Good afternoon. I hope you guys are all doing well. Lots of stuff going on in the news, and if you're in Christ, you should not be fearing what is being reported. With that being said, I have, I'll say 4 dreams. One was this morning. It might go along with the 3, but I'll let you guys decide on that, and then just take everything to our Lord Jesus Christ, and see if there's anything in them that pertains to you. I know there was plenty that was directed at me, but it could also be for others too. All right, so the first dream was about 2 weeks ago, and I and others that I didn't recognize were at a bus. It wasn't really a bus station, but buses were going through. So myself and another woman, we were just talking, we were excited, and we didn't really know where the bus was going. And I start seeing the bus come by, and I'm seeing the people inside. Most of them look like they're just wearing average clothing, and maybe about 4 people on the bus were quite different. They had like white and pink around their neck. I don't know what that really, it was a hot pink, if that matters to anyone. I don't know, but and I just noticed it. I thought it was very weird. None of them really looked happy except for the male, and I just thought it was strange. Even in the dream, I thought it was strange that they were like that and they weren't happy except for the woman. And it was our turn to get on the bus, so now it's like a full bus, and we're talking, and I look over across from me, and the male that is in white and pink, I remember thinking that as he was talking and smiling, he was very effeminate, and the impression was, just be careful, be careful. And I was like, okay, so I looked up towards the front. There was a divided wall from, like, I guess, seats in front and where we were. And on the floor, there are several people sitting there. And one of them definitely looked like one that was in white and pink, but now she was just in, average clothing, everyday wear, and still not happy. And then we all get off the bus, except for those that were in white and pink, and even the male that was happy. There was something about him, but the Lord really hasn't confirmed that. But in the dream, it almost seemed like it was a fake laughter that he was exuding, but the Lord hasn't really confirmed that yet. So we all get off the bus, and we're just extremely excited and happy, and we get into this formation. Now, a bunch of you will have either been in the military or have loved ones in the military, and I was in for a while and got out on a medical discharge, and my husband was also in for 8-9 years. And I can tell you that even when I went in through basic, that first day there might have been some excitement, but mostly it's like, what the heck am I doing here? This was totally different. We were just extremely excited for our task at hand. And then that was over. That dream was over. And the impressions that I got while I was there in the dream were that those that had been in white and pink, they might have had this self-righteous, like, we know what's right, we do it better than everyone else, so we deserve to be here, but yet they weren't allowed to be with the rest of us. Let's see. And then the male also might have been reduced, like down, and like, I guess from what I was asking the Lord yesterday, because a couple of these dreams have young people in them. I don't recognize any of them, but they're like a high school graduates / young adults, like college age. So I was asking him, I was like, why does it seem like there's these young people in? And the answer came in the form that they think they know everything and that they can do everything more right than you can. And some of them are going to hold out to the very end, and but God knows our heart, and he knows who his are, and those that are always thinking that they're better and can do things better are going to be called out. That is kind of what I got from that dream. So the second dream was, I'm thinking, not yesterday, Monday, last Monday, so a week ago. This dream, let me make sure I'm getting them in order. I don't know if it matters if they're in order or not, but I'm trying to put them in order. Okay, so yes, the second dream was with familiar and non-familiar faces. Once again, I don't know if that matters. Again, I and some others are feeding, it almost looks like homeless people. We're in a town. I don't recognize the town. It seems small, not a lot of buildings or anything, so almost a country-like setting, but a town. But there were people outside that needed to be fed, and we were feeding them. And there were two people that were familiar faces. They were very excited, loved the Lord, and innately they just do the right thing. I mean, something within them, they just do the right thing, and it doesn't bother them. They don't, say, oh, well, we're doing this, or, and you're not doing this. They're not like that. Very simple people. And what I got out of this was that, okay, so they were very happy, and they had, I guess, hired a Christian band. If you guys are familiar with like the Baptist revivals, and there's always Christian groups or singers, it was something like that. And the impression was that not everyone is who they seem to be, and the ones who love Christ and are simple, they need to be protected. So, and then we go into this next scene. It's still in the same area, but now I'm at this table, and I don't know if it's outside of a church, but it's outside of a building. I don't know what's on the table. I don't know if it matters. And I'm talking to a familiar face, and this person says, yes, she's going into the military. So-and-so is going into the military. And I say, wait, what are you saying? What did you just say? And that person that said that to me is now gone, and someone else, it's like I hear the voice, but I don't really see him. This person is in the military, and he just confirmed that, yes, she's going into the military, and my dad is, at home making us breakfast. I was like, okay, this is very weird. I know that these people aren't together, and why? And then I was like in the dream, oh yeah, but so-and-so, they're out there. But why does, this person say what he's saying like it's a negative thing, because the impression that I got in the dream was that the person that was at home making breakfast, taken care of, seemed really excited and happy that he was taking care of his children. But so he confirmed that the sibling was going into the military, and then the download was, well, they're already a part of the system, and so they're not going to fight it. So another dream that has a military aspect of it. The third dream I'm adding, and I'll tell you why when that scene comes up. Now, this dream was a couple of days ago, and my husband and I, we are like in a hotel/resort, and he has to go somewhere, like an interview or something. And I'm thinking, okay, wow, this is a big task. But I told him, I said, but I will be fine. Everything will work out. And so these young people, again, are in the dining area, and they seem to all be together, but you know how kids are. They have their own little cliques and everything, and just like adults. But one group was sitting at a round table, and then the other group was, kind of just wandering, and you almost got the idea that, like, okay, what's up with this group? And a girl, a female, stuck out mainly to me. It was a black girl, and for some reason I was drawn to her. Now, none of these people look familiar to me, but I was drawn to her, and so I wanted to get her what she wanted or needed. And at the same time, my head is like, wow, this, because I'm asking them what they want and there's no decision being made. And I continue to wait, and she's just like looking around. Her whole group is like just looking around, and I'm thinking, okay, well, my task here is, my job description is a lot larger than, meets the eye. And I'm going to have to make a decision for them because they can't seem to decide on anything. And so I said, well, what about scrambled eggs? I maybe because a lot of hotels, like for breakfast, they serve scrambled eggs. I don't know why that came into my head, but they seemed to be happy with it, that particular group. And so I had mentioned it to the rest. I said, is this okay? And they just looked at me with such disdain and got up and walked away. And as I'm preparing these eggs, and I told them, I said, you can put whatever you want in them. And so they were choosing what they wanted to put in it. It ended up looking like white fudge. I don't know why, because what they had chose was chocolate chips. I don't know if this matters. I don't know if I'm interjecting something because my husband loves chocolate chips just to snack on, but it wasn't chocolate fudge. It was like white fudge looking. And my husband comes back, and I'm just like, oh great, he's gonna know that I used his chocolate chips. And I'm just like, trying to scoot it into the eggs or something. And he was just so happy looking, and he's dressed in white. It's like this white dress uniform. And so we go to the other side of this wall while, these students or young adults are enjoying their scrambled eggs / white fudge. I don't know. It was weird, but I'm happy to see that he's back. It seemed like he went on an interview and that it was for the airlines, which is weird because they don't have a uniform that looks like this. It was all white, and his hat was like an officer's hat. But I don't remember seeing any distinguishing colors of anything. It was just white. And I think the closest that I've ever seen him as happy as he was is like when I first met him and when we got married and probably had our son. I don't know, but that kind of happiness. And I was because he was so happy, I was ecstatic for him, and I knew that I had to still fulfill my duties. So I started going back towards the dining room, and this toddler is screaming his head off, demanding certain things of this female, which was not apparent. And so what was mentioned to me about that was how the youth, they have no respect for their elders, and almost as if women and children are ruling everything and have more control than they ever have. And it's just getting really bad out there. Just like in scriptures, if you go back to Old Testament, when the women and the children were ruling over the men, nothing went well at all. And so we're kind of back in those days, I'm guessing. I mean, it seems like that to me. I don't know, but and then there was a gentleman sitting at a table. I was like, okay, well, he needs some help. And so I went to see what he wanted, and he was like a sandwich. And so I went to go get him a sandwich, and they weren't sandwiches that I made. When I picked it up, it just seemed nasty. So I went to throw it away to get him something else. And then I end up outside, and the building is like right where I'm at. And then there was some space, and then like a forest, and I looked to my right. Well, to the left, there was a car, an old car, hood up, and someone, I think, tinkering around in there. But to the right, there were 3 people, 2 females and a male. And it turned out that they were mother, son, and daughter. And I'm just looking at them because I'm seeing something, but I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing. Like, it just looks really odd. And they're looking a little Aztecish, Mayan, that culture and the way that you see represented in old photographs or hieroglyphs, things like that. Their eyes were really wide, and then, out like this. And, but there was something strange going on with one of them. And every time I kept thinking I saw something, I guess, the profile would change where, I couldn't quite get it, almost as if it was being hidden from me. But as I'm standing there, the female, the daughter, she looks at me and she goes, "You look just like my brother." And this was not the brother that was there. I'm guessing the brother had passed away that she was talking about. And the reason why they were looking at me was because they were trying to decide if I was on the same side as they were, almost like if I had some kind of spirit within me that they could relate to or that was in them. And I said, no, that's the Holy Spirit you're witnessing. And the daughter, she's kind of smiling, and the other two don't like this. And it seems like they're trying to dissuade her from talking to me or having anything to do with me at all. And they're just, after that, I couldn't really understand what they were saying. I just knew that it was getting really chaotic. And the energy, you know, that was around me, you could just tell that there was something off. And they went over to the person at the car, and they were talking and yelling, and all of a sudden, I guess I knew that it was, you know, I keep forgetting this part. So before that, I was finally able to see what I kept missing, like it was being hidden from me. So the mother had 3 eyes. She had, you know, her eyes, and then like a third eye, or the eye of Horus right here. And I think it's when I noticed that, when they went over and were talking to the male that was at the car, and so it was getting just crazy wild. And I kind of felt like something was going to happen. And so I was proclaiming Jesus's names, and I was clapping. So I was like clapping Jesus, you know, I was just happy and proclaiming his name. But as soon as I did, you know, clap my hands and proclaim Jesus's name, from the forest, there's like, you know, just air swirling these leaves, and it's coming towards me really quickly. And it binds my hands like this when I was about to say Jesus again, and clap my hands, you know, so I was still like this, but it was bound, and they were burning. My hands were burning, and he was trying, whatever entity it was trying to bind me from saying anything. And I was able to like open them up, and I could still feel the burning in my hands, but I was able to still open them up and clap Jesus again, and then Jesus again, and clap. And that was the end of that dream, because my husband woke me up. He goes, were you saying Joseph? I was like, no, I was proclaiming Jesus's name. And so I guess when most of the time, whenever I'm woken up like that, it just sounds like mumbling. He's like, no, I can't even understand what you're saying. So the reason I put that dream in with the other two was because my husband, the way he was dressed, it was like a military dress uniform, although there was no medals or anything like that on them, but it was like an officer's hat, and the cut of the uniform was like a military uniform. So that's why I put that dream in with this one. Okay, so this morning, there's no military aspect of this dream, but so there's familiar faces again and non-familiar faces in this dream as well. And it seemed like we were getting together for some event, like a family event, but I can't tell you what. But you know how women are. We're always, you know, getting all of our things together that we need to get ourselves prettied up, right? Well, I just don't know what kind of event it was. But I'm there. I'm with, you know, family members and non-family members, and we're just talking. And as a lot of times I feel, you know, that I'm really not a part of what's going on, and so I'll find myself in other places. Well, I found myself with a brother, and it's weird because they had a new baby, which that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just weird, probably because I watched a video that had a baby in it. That's probably why it showed up in my dream this morning. But they had a baby, and I know some of these little facts of the dreams, they sound very strange, but I can't even make this stuff up in real life, you know? Like, I don't know how it ends up in my dream. But anyway, do you guys know, like, the paraglide things that you can, like, if you go to the beach and you can rent, and you're taken up on, you know, on a boat, and, you know, the wind picks you up and you're kind of flying? Okay, well, it was sort of like that, except that the boat was an inflatable. So something is pulling this inflatable alligator and floaty thing, I don't know, and maybe that's because there's alligators back there, but maybe that's why that was in there. But it was like this inflatable, and they were sitting in it, but they were attached to one of those paraglide things that when the boat is moving and speeding across the water, you're picked up and you're in the air and holding on. Well, they were doing that, and they had the baby with them. And I was like, and at first I was with them, but somehow I ended up in the street, and they took off and they came around really quick and then, you know, landed in the road, but like further up where they started at. And it was kind of hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like way back here. And so I'm having to run to catch up to see if everybody's okay because they have a baby. And as I'm running, what is input into my mind as I'm having the dream is that, you know, they're just going about business like everything is normal when it's not. And so when I got up to where we had all started out at, I'm looking for them and I don't see them. But then I walk into this home where family and some strangers are. At least they're strangers to me. And the baby, though, is in the home with a female relative of mine. And I know that it's not hers, but she has the baby. And there's, so the two people that I don't know was a female and her daughter. And the daughter must have been school age, but I'm thinking maybe 5 because she seemed pretty young. And the mom says that she needs to come home, you know, at a normal time so she can get some sleep because she has to get up for school. And the little girl says, but I like being over there at this female relative's home. And the mom is saying, yeah, but you need to get sleep so you can go to school. And this is going back and forth because the girl is getting agitated, like, you know, she wants to be at this other person's home. And it just irritated me. And I said, someone has got to discipline this child. And the girl, she's getting upset because she knows that I'm trying to make sure that someone is going to discipline her and keep her from going over to this female relative's home. And I'm talking to the mom and, you know, like telling her that she's got to discipline her daughter. She can't let her daughter rule things. And she's, I guess, giving an excuse. And I wanted to say something to her, but what came out instead was, because I think even in the dream, I was more like, if I say that, she's going to take it the wrong way. So what I said was, tomorrow isn't promised. But I yelled it. I said, tomorrow isn't promised. And she looks at me and she's like, what are you saying? I said, and then in a more calm voice, I said, tomorrow isn't promised. And she's looking at me. She's like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I said, tomorrow isn't promised. This particular dream, I had it impressed before I actually woke up, was that no one's going to love you the way your parents do. And none of us are perfect. But where most children, they always want to say, well, you know, I like so-and-so better because they let me do this and they let me do that. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because you're not theirs. And yeah, your parents have the tougher job. And then there are parents who had a relationship with a child that ended up poorly, so they flip their roles. Instead, now they become the friend to their to the children that come after, and that's not right either, because you have to discipline them. And for parents, that's really, you know, rough for everyone involved, because a lot of times we're just learning, and each child is different, and you know what one kid needs is different than another. So the dynamics of a family is just, you know, all over the place, because no one really understands what one needs, and they're always pointing fingers. So I'm going to go back to the third dream, because actually I did not see this aspect of it, but now I have to touch on it, because I did know this within that third dream when I was with the students, and there were 2 groups, but there was a larger group. So I knew that because there was a larger group, I had to make a decision for the whole group. But the thing that was made known to me in the dream was that sometimes an individual will need special attention. And I think the girl that I felt drawn to, she was one of those. She needed more attention than the rest of the group did. And so it may have looked like I was singling her out, you know, and focusing on her more than the rest. And that was where the other side of me was like, yeah, okay, I gotta make sure that everybody is, you know, getting attention. And so we have to rightly divide every situation, you know, just like the 10 Commandments were for all of us, but sometimes within those categories, sometimes we have to, and I'm not saying to break those commandments. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is sometimes one person may need a little more special attention, you know, maybe just a conversation or something that the rest just don't need, you know. I did not even see those two things when I had told that last dream. That's interesting. So I have to thank the Father for that, because he connects all of these dreams, and this is how he talks to me a lot of times, not every time. Sometimes I'll just be going about my business and I'm just like, oh wow, okay, thank you, thank you. And also I have to say, with that last dream, you know, our God, he's a father. He created all of us, and we chose very early on to align ourselves with the enemy, his enemy. And yes, the enemy schemed and lied, but we still fell for it. Now, as a parent myself, and a lot of you guys, your parents probably, how would that make you feel if one of your children were stolen from you because of a lie? Or because they offered them something, you know, oh, look at this juicy apple. Oh, it's so good. Think about it. When you can think that way, think about how he felt when all of his children fell. Even his chosen ones that he carved out. I mean, he deserved all of us. He made every single one of us, but yet he gave them to his fallen sons because that's who they chose. And he's like, you know, I deserve my own, so I'm going to have my own people. He carved them out, and look at all the trouble they had. They whored on him, and he gave us a way back to him. So when we're going about our daily business, let's try to remember our Father and our Savior, Yeshua, Jesus the Christ. Let's remember them and really think about what they have given of themselves. Jesus, he was a willing sacrifice for all of us. And I love him. I really love him. And when you know what he has done for us, maybe that will help you on your walk and how you decide and the choices that you make, because no matter what, he is going to give you free will. So whether you choose him or not, that's all on you, but he loves you enough to let you do that, even if it's falling away. All right, so with that, are we going to stand or are we going to fall? Are we going to stand with him, be in his army, or are we going to be in man's army, which is Satan's army? That's the choice. It's that simple. It's not that difficult. And with everything going on in this world right now, and everything that they're setting us up for, think about those that are in man's army right now and what they're fighting for, because they're not fighting for our Lord. That's not to say he doesn't have specific people right where they are, because at any given time, he uses us to learn something if we're just paying attention. So with all that being said, pray about any or all of the dreams. See if anything pertains to you. I know there were quite a few things that pertain to me, and I have to work on. And I always ask, you know, if I don't know specifically what I need to work on, I ask him all the time. Oh, and fun tip, guys. Did you know that if you dream and believe that you are getting messages of any kind, that it's considered a mental health condition? Where do you think this is all going, guys? They don't want you to have communication with the Lord. I thought that was interesting when I was looking up different sleeping disorders and things like that. And yeah, pretty much dreaming is a mental health illness. So take that as you will. I love you guys. I'm praying for all of you, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.